This is my dual-core laptop. It's a Lenovo T470. It's quite old now, and I wanted to find out, will my RTX 3070 be compatible with this laptop, and how will it perform? Let's go ahead and find out. Okay, so the first thing to check is to see if this laptop's actually compatible. Now, I already know that it is. It's technically cheating a little bit, but it's a feature of this laptop. It has a Thunderbolt port right there. So this is Thunderbolt compatible, and that's what makes us able to use something like the Razer Core X that we have right here. So the Razer Core X is what we're going to be using to connect our RTX 3070. Now, the one thing I don't know is if the power supply in the Razer Core X is enough to power it, so let's go ahead and check now. So total power can't exceed 600 watts. Max power 650 watts. So we're pretty much very good to go with the RTX 3070 here, so no problems with that. And the reason is because this won't even be drawing anything close to that. Like on a normal PC, okay, maybe with an RTX 3070, 600 might not be enough, but on something like this that's driving only the graphics card, we're gonna be good to go. So you just wanna grab your RTX 3070 or whatever graphics card you're using, and then just put it into the slot. Easy enough. Should slot straight down. There you go. So nice and easy. The RTX 3070 is in, and we just need a little screw for the top, and we're all ready to go. And we just need the power connectors. Do not forget the power connectors. Let me just put in the power connectors while I still remember. And the cable that goes from the laptop into the back of the Razer Core X. There's quite a short cable. Make sure the power supply is off. Now we'll go ahead and plug it in. Cool, so Razer Core X is started up. My RTX 3070 fans are spinning in there. Not sure if you guys will be able to see that, but it says here, setting up PCIe device, or PCI device. Let's go ahead and see if it works. Should get something here, setting up VGA compatible. You can also see here that the laptop is being charged through the Thunderbolt. You can see here as well, view attached devices under the Thunderbolt settings. So it says Razer Core X right there, connected. See, GPU 0 is still HD 620 graphics, and then the bottom one is RTX 3070. Awesome, so that's very good that we have that on. So there won't be any rebar or anything like that on the laptop because it doesn't support it, and we'll have significant GPU bandwidth limitations through the Thunderbolt, as well as this being a dual-core laptop in terms of performance. So let's go ahead and see how the games actually play. This one's going to be pretty interesting, so let's head on to our first game. Alright, so it was way too hot in the other room. I had to switch over to this one over here, so I'm going to be doing some sort of a live reaction to this. So I probably would have went through the specs of the laptop, and I'll probably be comparing it to my desktop results as well. But let's just give you guys a quick look on my desk right now, because you guys will probably be seeing the screen itself. So over here we have the Lenovo T470, and it's sitting on top of the Razer Core X with my RTX 3070 inside. So from the back of the Razer Core X, I know it's a muddle of cables back there, this HDMI cable is going all the way over to my capture card, and this capture card is going to my other PC that I have here, kind of like a test bench, and that will be recording the screen for OBS. And then I also get another live output to this little monitor here, and I'll be able to use the keyboard and mouse. So all of the games will be on an external hard drive or the external SSD, so boot times and stuff like that I won't really take into account unless it's taking extremely long to load, which is a different story. But let's get into it. Our first game, let's see what I want to pick, and I'll see you guys in just a second. So our first game is going to be Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So let's go ahead and press run. Let's see what happens. So we're actually in the game now, which is good. Finally managed to get in. Let's put this resolution down to what it should be. Just needed to be changed to full screen. There you go. Awesome. So we're using about 5.7 gigabytes of VRAM. Okay. We're not going to use any upscaling because I want to see how this goes on just the normal raster results. I'm thinking ultra high might be a push for the CPU to try. Okay, we'll give it a shot. We'll be doing the benchmark, so let's go ahead and give it a shot. Let's see what actually happens on ultra high settings. Okay, so for some reason it's loaded into the end of the benchmark. The rest of it was just like literally blank. Okay, so that did not work at all whatsoever. It literally loaded the last part of the benchmark, but you saw there was a decent frame rate there, but obviously it's completely failed run. So let's go ahead and go back and try some other settings, probably some low settings. The CPU is probably finding it really difficult to run this game. So as you can see here, there's just like the black loading screen. That's what was happening the whole time. So yeah, I'm not sure what was going on there. We'll try it again, probably. Okay, so it's loaded into the end of the benchmark once again. So okay, we can quickly just do that. Let's see what we get for our FPS score. Okay, so we didn't manage to load into the game. Wow, okay. We're sitting around about 56 FPS. Nice, it's sitting around about 60 FPS on low. The CPU is being used like crazy. The GPU is not being used much, but 50 to 70%. You can see the wattage is not exactly correct for the GPU. We are on low settings. So like 100 watts are being used there, and we're below 4 gigabytes of VRAM, so it's kind of funny. But, okay. Now that we have it working on low settings, okay, let's see if I can fight some people. Let's go see, let's go see. I'm not too sure if this will work, but ooh, okay, that lagged out pretty hard there. Oh, okay. So it just, when it needs to load a part of the scene, it just freezes up, like it puts the loading thing on. So I probably wouldn't call this playable. I know there's some people up here, I think, from memory. There we go. Okay, nice. I mean, yeah, not bad, but it keeps loading all the time, so it's a little bit irritating. Okay, I want to go try this on ultra settings again. So I think we might be able to do it. Okay, have to restart the game. I'll be back. It is kind of playable on the low settings, surprisingly, but at the same time, it's not exactly the most playable because of the actual loading that has to go in it. The bottom right there keeps showing the loading icon, so not exactly the best, but hey, not a bad result for a dual-core laptop. I mean, that's kind of impressive. Let's go ahead and see on ultra settings if it actually works. Okay, so we're back in game on ultra settings. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stutter, but it does look good. It's not that bad. I assume there's going to be the loading thing as well on the bottom right, so let's go ahead and see. I mean, you guys can probably see the stutter on the screen there. And we can see the GPU is not being used to its maximum here. I mean, it's on like 80% usage, it says here. So about 6 gigabytes of VRAM being used, but the wattage is not that high. I mean, our CPU is like really pumping right now. It's on 100% usage basically. The CPU is not well warm though, 65 degrees, but I guess this room is air conditioned, so it's not really an issue. You can see it's just constantly loading. There we go, there's the one load. Seems like all the enemies are gone. See if we can go find some more. Also, if you guys are seeing vertical lines on the screen, that is not because of the actual game. It's because of the capture card that I have. It has a little bit of a problem with VSync issues, so don't worry about it. And hey, we're running along everywhere. See if there's some enemies here. I ran out of arrows to go challenge someone manually and go up to them. Okay, this guy's on a horse. Okay, he's a knight. Okay, hello my dude. I would like to fight you in the game. That's right. That's right. Ooh. I'm gonna die immediately. I have not played the game in so long. I'm staggered. Okay. Shoot. It got me. Okay, that one was a little bit hard, but I guess the game is somewhat playable. I'm not the best, but it's decent. If you guys can mind the loading in and all of that, it could actually work out if you want to craft the RTX 3070 and put it on a dual-core laptop. So I guess that's our first game. Let's go ahead and load up our second game, and I'll see you guys in a second. So it looks like we're going to be going on to our next game, which is Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Let's give this a shot. Hopefully it works. Okay, so we are on the high settings at the moment, and well, it's a little bit laggy, but it does look pretty decent in terms of detail. Let's go ahead and see if we can do a run real quick. Actually, let's just bring it down here first. Cool. I mean, the motion blur looks actually kind of nice. I usually wouldn't say that, but let's go ahead and have a look. So there's a lot of stutter, as you guys can probably see there. And our 1% lows are pretty bad. So the graphics card is fluctuating anywhere from 50 to 60% usage, it seems like. And the wattage off it is only 100, which is a little bit interesting that it's actually that low. So it seems like in this game we're not utilizing the GPU fully again, but I would have expected at least the wattage to be a little bit higher. Usually the maximum of this card is 220 watts, but I would have expected something a little bit higher. So I mean, it looks good. It just feels really laggy. Like there's a lot of stutter. I would love to try something like a RTX 4090 or something crazy like that on this dual core laptop as well, and see how much of a bottleneck it is. Well, okay, so it actually had to load there, so we completely stuttered out there. Completely. Oops. Accidentally brought out my bow. Very nice. The NPC was in the way. Cool. Very nice. So, not too bad there. Let's go ahead and actually turn on DLSS and see what happens. So, under display and graphics, I believe. Let's have a look here. DLSS. Let's put it on performance. That changes. It's not too bad. Feel it's a little bit laggy still. But we'll turn down the quality settings and have DLSS on in a second to see what we can actually get in terms of decent performance. Okay, so that felt a lot better. I'm not sure exactly by how much, but it did feel decent overall. Let's go ahead, lower the quality settings, and see what we can get in terms of our performance. Okay, so we're back on low settings with DLSS enabled on performance. Now, it does feel a little bit smoother, but I'm not 100% sure. You can definitely see the textures are lower. Of course, probably in this instance as well, we're just going to be severely CPU limited. Sounds about right. So we can see our GPU wattage has actually gone down from before, from what I can tell. And our VRAM usage is definitely a lot lower, but our FPS is probably about the same, feels about the same at least. But just with a tad less stutter, but still not the best experience. Of course, I don't expect it to be, it's just, it'd have been nice to have slightly better 1% lows. But it makes sense. Again, it's a dual core CPU, and 1% lows are definitely affected by CPU and RAM, so this makes a whole lot of sense. But it's interesting that even though the RTX 3070 is on the dual core as well as the Thunderbolt limitation, it's still doing a decent job overall. It's actually doing quite well. Okay, let's see if it loads again in this section when I go back to the village. Yeah, it loaded. It could also be due to it being on the external hard drive, but I mean, that would make sense. I don't think it's exactly a feature of this laptop. It's just the way I'm playing the game because I have to. There's no place for more storage, internal storage. I have to use external storage through USB device. So got the hard drive and the SSD there. Okay, so I felt that was similar performance overall compared to the ultra settings, or was it on high settings, and did see the wattage go down from what I could tell on the screen. Not 100% sure though, but it did feel about the same on all three, except the high settings with no DLSS was a bit more stuttery compared to the DLSS version. So overall, I mean, the gameplay's okay. I mean, I would be happy with it if I had to use something like this. It is sort of playable, so let's head on to our next game. Alright, so the next game we're going to be trying is Hitman 3. So this will be probably on the Chongqing map. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. We'll do it at 1080p. We'll do it on low settings, so let's get the low presets. Hopefully it's here. Okay, let's just throw everything on the lowest setting here. Shadow quality low, off base. Cool. Of course, we will turn ray tracing off. I don't think it's probably gonna work here very well. Well, I mean, we can try it while we're in the game. Press save, and hopefully we launch up properly. Go, we're here. Awesome. Let's get started on this one. Looking pretty good, to be honest. Sitting pretty smooth, which is good. Let's see how it handles all the lights. Awesome. We're looking pretty smooth there. Just a little bit of stutter, but it's all good. It's actually not that bad. I'm not gonna lie, you could probably play the game like this. This is pretty good. Yeah, I mean, there's not much stutter that I can see here. And the frame time graph is actually looking alright, at least in the 1% lows. So quite happy with this. Pretty happy. I mean, that's pretty good. That was a pretty good run. I felt pretty good in Hitman 3. Let's turn the settings up from the lowest. I think I should be able to. Okay, so we're back. We're using the high settings now. So let's go ahead and see how this actually looks. So we loaded back by the stairs. Let's see. Okay, cool. The texture quality looks quite a bit better. The lighting's pretty nice as before as well. We're running pretty smooth, and so it's not too bad. And we are using a little bit more wattage, I believe. Well, I'm not entirely sure. Have to have a look after, but it is up there, which is good. And the game is playing well, honestly, on the dual core. I mean, this game doesn't feel like it's too reliant on the CPU. Although, I mean, we're down to like 50 FPS, so I mean, that's saying something. But at the same time, it is more than playable. Although we're kind of stunting the RTX 3070 completely, it's not actually that bad. Now, I do want to have a quick look with some ray tracing as well. It'll be a little bit interesting to see. I'll just do a quick run around, probably not like this type of benchmark, but we'll have a look after on the ray trace. Cool. So I felt that was pretty decent overall. Didn't feel like laggy or anything like that. It felt pretty good. So happy overall with how this one is played out. So this is going to be tested with some ray traced shadows now. So let's go ahead and try that out. So I don't know if I put it in the video, but the ray tracing did not turn on in the pre-game menu before you boot it up. So I had to turn it on in-game again and load back in. But it seems to me that it's on now. So let's go ahead and actually check if this is going to work or not with the ray tracing on. So I can see that the GPU utilization now is actually quite high. It's around about 98%. I hope my GPU is okay in there. It's using significantly more wattage, as you can see now with the ray tracing on. So it's around about 160 watts and plus. So 160, 150 I saw there, 170. It is fluctuating, and the FPS is quite low. So we're at like 22 or so. And I mean, it's relatively smooth, but it's not exactly playable. But it does look pretty good. I think I can tell the difference now. With the ray tracing on, it looks a little bit more reflective in places from what I can see. But yeah, we're actually using our GPU quite a bit here. And our CPU utilization's hovering around anywhere from around 90 to 100%. It just dropped to 88 there. So it's interesting that the GPU is actually, this is the first game with the ray tracing on, that the GPU is actually being used to its almost its full utilization rate in the Razer Core X. I mean, the majority of the other games I couldn't even get it past on higher settings. I just refused to. But turning on ray tracing here really has put it up, and especially that wattage requirement as well. So it's interesting that I managed to get this to work. So it. I can't exactly say that ray tracing is usable on the dual-core laptop, but it certainly can be played, if that makes sense. It's not fully playable. I mean, I probably wouldn't play the game like this. The RTX 3070 struggles on ray tracing in any case, but pair that with the dual-core and it's the recipe for a disaster. But I'm pretty happy with this. It's very interesting to see that the GPU utilization rate is actually quite high. So a good result overall, and I'm happy that Hitman 3 is pretty much playable on low, medium, high, and even with ray tracing on high settings. That was pretty good. So let's get on to our next game and see how it performs on the RTX 3070. So I'm going to try out Marvel Rivals now, and let's go ahead and see if this actually manages to launch. It's a 2024 or late 2024 game, so I don't know how this is going to go. I mean, my PC kind of struggles with it a little bit on the RTX 3070 and a 5700 X3D for the CPU, so I'm not sure if this is even going to launch. So let's go ahead and find out. It just says launching at the moment. Let's see if we actually get anything. Okay, so the launcher has launched up. Let's click launch. Wow, server failed connection. I can't even show us the news for the day. So we're launching the game. Let's see if we actually manage to get in or not. I don't know. Alright, so Marvel Rivals isn't loading, unfortunately. It seems to me it's just stuck there. Let's just have a check on Task Manager really quick. I don't think it's going to launch. We've given it a couple of minutes. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I think it's just stuck, so unfortunately I don't think Marvel Rivals is going to be compatible. I wouldn't expect it to be. A dual-core CPU is really going to struggle on this game, so let's just go on to the next game. Let's see what we have. So next we have Cyberpunk 2077. So let's see if we get this game to actually launch. Okay, so Cyberpunk didn't seem to work. It says Cyberpunk 2077 has flatline, so unfortunately unfortunately we can't launch it on this laptop, so let's head on to our next game. Next up we have Warframe. So I'm pretty sure this one should work. It's not too difficult to run usually, but I'm not sure about the dual core. Although back in the day when I used to play Warframe, when I first played it, I did play it on a dual core laptop as well, but a much older i3 processor. So hopefully this should work. We'll see what happens. I'm not really sure if it's gonna run, but let's see. Okay, so we just managed to get into Warframe after a very long load time, and we are stuttering a little bit in the ship. We are probably gonna change the settings. We'll do an actual mission as well, probably a survival, something like on Mott. So just change this to full screen, and we're gonna put on medium, press confirm. I mean, I can see the wattage in the ship itself is quite high. CPU usage, of course, will be high. Okay, I feel like it is a little bit too laggy even in the ship, so when we start to have a lot of enemies, it's going to be pretty bad. So let's turn on DLSS if it's available, some sort of upscaling, because I think that's what will get us through the game. Let's have a look. Upscaling, so let's put DLSS on performance, we'll put sharpening, leave it at 50. Okay, that's a lot better actually. Okay, so I will go into a solo survival for around about, say, 10 minutes, and let's see how this goes. So hopefully the map actually loads up. Alright, so that took about 4 minutes to load in there, so let's go ahead and see how we do. Okay, it's very laggy. I think motion blur is on as well, so just turn that off really quick, if it allows me. Oh my god, okay. That is not good. The CPU cannot handle. It's literally just... Okay, we're going alright. It seems we're not actually using much of the GPU here. Okay. Complete delay. Very nice. I think it might have crashed the laptop's fan has stopped spinning. Okay, I just tabbed out. The game is completely crashed. It's unfortunate. So Warframe was a little bit of a bust here, I think. Okay, so I'm gonna call this one a bust. I don't think Warframe's works properly with the dual-core laptop and the RTX 3070. To be honest, yeah, there we go. The crash occurred. That's all good. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of expected that. But I mean, Warframe usually isn't too hard to run. It's just, we're in CS:GO now, and we are just looking for a match. So just a Dust 2 deathmatch. Let's go ahead and see if this works properly. Okay, there we go. The counter is there for you guys to see. Very nice. Get clapped immediately. Okay. I still lost to the Desert Eagle. I'm literally second bot frag. Oh my god, he's op 2. Okay, let's go. I still missed? Oh my lord. This is just sad. It's just so sad. Oh, he has a scout. Okay, I know you guys might not be happy with me using an op, but I literally cannot aim right now, so I have to use this thing. Oh my, okay. Where'd he go? Where did he come from? Where did he go? Where did he come from, Carnaggio? Okay, nice. Okay, I deserve that. Keep missing. Woof. Okay. Would I say this is playable? Not exactly, guys. It's not that fun. I mean, it is fun, but it's just probably can't play that competitively. Probably just gonna be playing for fun. Okay. So not bad. We ended up on 28 kills for 50 deaths. For 50 deaths. 50 deaths. That's kind of crazy. But anyways, all good. I mean, we had some fun playing CSGO there. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. So let's head on to our next game. Okay, so our last game here is going to be Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Now, I know, so we're in League of Legends now. We're running at 1080p and we're on medium high settings. So let's go ahead and play the game. So we're playing ARAM, so nothing special here. Just a classic ARAM. I don't expect this to be too difficult to run. Let's go ahead and see how it plays. So running pretty smooth at the moment. Should probably drop down to like 80 to 100 FPS usually, especially in fights in League of Legends or ARAM specifically. I know this laptop does run League of Legends on low, like at around about 40 to 60 FPS, which is pretty normal. So, I mean, yeah, not bad. We can see the CPU usage is sitting around about anywhere above 50%, and the GPU is literally not being used. It's at like 30 watts, so not much at all there. Okay, so League of Legends is definitely playing quite well. I'm really happy with the performance of it. I'm playing ARAM only, but you can definitely play League of Legends with the RTX 3070. I already knew the game ran on the laptop itself as well as testing it on the RX 5600 XT. So yeah, it's pretty much a wrap for this game, and I think this is going to be the last game for the video.
I thought that we had some pretty interesting results, and I was surprised that Assassin's Creed Valhalla ran decently and that Hitman 3 actually looked pretty good on the dual cores. It's good to note that the power consumption was actually pretty low on the RTX 3070, but Warframe showed us that the wattage could go higher if pushed with more intensive graphics. It's just a shame that that game happened to crash. A bit disappointed that I couldn't get Marvel Rivals or Ratchet & Clank A Rift Apart to run at all. But the games that did run had a really good example of CPU limitation. So when you are CPU limited, the graphics card will not be able to produce any more frames. This was painfully obvious in some games. Well, of course, this is taken to the extreme, considering that the Thunderbolt 3 port on my laptop was only capable of 20 gigabytes per second, and that the RTX 3070 was only running at PCIe 3.0 2x. So not a lot of bandwidth to play with. I think it's a good lesson in balancing your PC parts to make sure that you're actually taking full advantage of the parts that you bought. So that about sums it up. Make sure you go and check out wisetech.org for some more awesome content. But other than that, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!